Two huge extensions for young NHL stars, our surprises from the first month of the NHL season, and a whole lot more. You're listening to Locked On NHL, your team every day.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to this Wednesday, October 29th edition of the Locked On NHL podcast. I'm Ross Levitan from Locked On Senators, and as always, it's a Battle of Ontario edition. With me is Mike DiStefano from Locked On Maple Leafs. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. We will get to what we've seen on the ice through the first month of the NHL season. But the big stories today are two massive contract extensions, one in Utah and the other in Dallas. The Mammoth have agreed to terms with Logan Cooley on an 8-year extension with a cap hit of $10 million, while Thomas Harley, young defenseman for the Stars, will make $10.587 million over the next 8 years. Mikey, choose your own adventure. Which one of these deals do you want to start with?
Well, we could start with the one that's the freshest, and that would be Logan Cooley. I mean, fresh off of a hell of a week. And we're going to get to our 3 stars a little bit later on in the show. Spoiler, he's there. He's been on fire to start the season. And he gets a big deal, 8 years, $10 million AAV. And, you know, it seems to be really what we've seen a lot of lately is teams betting on their young stars to turn into, you know, they're stars of the game. And that's a big bet from the Utah Mammoth to sit there and say Logan Cooley, who's played, 2 seasons and now a handful of games. And they're like, yep, we want to marry ourselves to that on a $10 million per year basis. And I tell you what, Ross, I think they're going to get full value for this contract because, man, this kid is unbelievable. And he's coming into this 3rd season, and he has been on fire over the course of the last season. 12 points on the year, 8 goals, 1 shy of the NHL lead. But he's got 6 goals in his last 4 games. This kid's unbelievable, man. Like, he's such a good hockey player. They've got themselves a stud in Utah.
Yeah, and so nice for that fan base too. Like, they already got the big long-term deal signed from JJ Peterka after the trade in the offseason. Genther signed until 2033, just 1 year less than this extension will bring Logan Cooley. So if you're a fan of this team, you're seeing the players in the core come together. Throw Mikhail Sergachev in there, who signed until 2031. They get him in a trade at the 2024 draft. So there's a lot of building blocks now in place for Utah and more to come. Like, this team, obviously, when you're as bad as you are in Arizona for so long, you're going to stack picks. But what I really like about this for Utah now, and maybe it wasn't a good strategy while they were in Arizona, if they wanted to drum up excitement and energy for these young players, but these 2 Russians that they got, and one's in the AHL right now. The other's played the entire season so far in the National Hockey League. A high pick, Dmitry Simashev. Like, they've got these young players coming all over their lineup in the next number of years. They've even got a goalie who's ripping it up in the NCAA, and Michael Hrabal. Like, they're set up really nicely. And for me, the big thing that Ryan Smith had to be thinking about was, yeah, we've got a couple of them locked up, most notably Genther, in terms of their young up-and-coming stars. But they have to be aware that there could be a couple more big deals coming in the next 2 or 3 years. So where were they going to set the precedent where now that Logan Cooley's making 10, you better be a hell of a player if you're going to be asking for even close to that number there. So yeah, I really like this deal for the player. He locks in the security. He's getting a lot of the money up front. I think I saw $35 million in the first 3 years, and I love it for the team too. This is a great extension.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look, and that's definitely the highest paid Mammoth player. Next best would be JJ Peterka, who signed that 5-year deal at 7.7, or Sergachev signed 8.5, I guess. On that deal. So that would be the second highest paid player. So yeah, that's probably their ceiling. And like, it'll be tough to be a better player than Logan Cooley. TJ Ginla too. Jerome McGinley's son, one of their top prospects who they took and with a top 10 pick, a couple of years
Their
ago.
first
So
draft.
he's another guy. Yeah, like another guy that the Mammoth are waiting in the wings, as they say. So it's a good team that they built. And I know that you and I were pretty high on them, thought that this would be a year that they could finally break through. And, Karel Vejmelka is playing terrific too in net. He's been great between the pipes. So again, good goaltending. You like what they've built on the back end. And we've got stars like Logan Cooley and guys like
Genther's ridiculous.
And Dylan Guenther and JJ Paterka. Nick Schmaltz is second in the NHL in scoring right now. Like you've got so many guys performing. It's a big reason why you look at the standings and they're leading this vaunted Central Division, which is one of the hardest divisions in all of hockey. They're up at the top. They're 8-3 on the year, 16 points. And I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they're going to be a very competitive team the rest of the year and for many years to come. I think that they're going to be right there in the mix with the Dallases, the Winnipegs, and the Colorados in that Central.
They earned a hard-fought loss, I would say, last night to the Edmonton Oilers, 6-3. That ended a 7-game win streak where they went into Winnipeg and beat them 3-2. Like that's a huge confidence-boosting win for them. Like that's the fourth game of their road trip. The last game was the loss to Edmonton. Tough schedule for them. They come home for one game, and it's against Tampa. They do have some days off here now before that. And then they go right back east to play Buffalo, Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa on their next road trip. I'm excited to see them up close and watch them more throughout the year. So great deal both ways there.
Well, look at the schedule that they've had here. Like you mentioned it, like they had Boston they did have Boston, but that's not much of
not anymore
glorious victory. But they had Colorado, they had St. Louis, they had Minnesota, they had Winnipeg, they had Edmonton. Like that's a tough stretch of hockey.
Yeah, they've already played Colorado twice.
Yeah, but that's their last 5 games. Colorado, St. Louis, Minnesota, Winnipeg, Edmonton, 4 of them on the road, and they went 4-1 in those games. Picked up 8 of a possible 10 points, and they're beating their interdivisional rivals and taking points off those division rivals. It's a big reason why they're sitting where they are right now.
And incredible, they're doing it with a major offensive outburst because Karel Vejmelka, who's 6-2 on the year, he's got an .892 save percentage. So it's not like they're getting goalie steals in these games. They're just outscoring their opponents and finding ways to win. Dallas Stars, they're always a team that finds ways to win. They've started their season with a record of 6-3-1, and they have extended Thomas Harley, who, if you don't know yet, you'll know soon enough, is going to be a premier defenseman in the National Hockey League. I would expect him to be a very, I might even go so far as to say lock at this point for Team Canada. Is that outrageous to say?
No, I've been saying that since day one, Ross.
I needed to see a little bit more. We had
that conversation in the summer about who were the locks and who are guys who are going to make it. And I've always been banging that Thomas Harley drum. And here he is off to another great start out in Dallas, and he gets paid. He gets rewarded. It's an 8-year deal, $10.5 million AAV. I mean, that's a big boy contract. That is a big boy contract in the NHL. And look, this guy's been an underrated defenseman for me for the last couple of years. I think last year at the Four Nations, when he came in and was the injury replacement, he opened up a lot of people's eyes. And he kind of arrived and said, I'm here as an NHL player. And, obviously Dallas has known what they've had over the last couple of years, and they decided to invest heavily. But you got Thomas Harley and Miro Heiskanen as your 2 pillars on your blue line. Like there's a reason why Dallas is always winning games and at the top of the pyramid here for many years. Like they know how to draft, they know how to develop, and they pay their guys. They pay their guys to stick around.
Yeah, and they still have $17 million in cap space for next season. So we'll see how they use that with the now huge commitment to Thomas Harley. But when you have Miro Heiskanen for 3 more years after this one at 8.4, it gives you a ton of flexibility. And Thomas Harley signed until 2034, the second longest tenured in terms of contract remaining for Dallas is Mikko Rantanen. He's locked up till 2034. 33. So if you're sick of seeing the Stars being good, you might want to strap in because they're going to be a good team for a long time.
I got a question for you, and it has to do with the theme of what we're talking here. Big extensions to young players. Let's take a break. Let's come back because there's one more player that I'm curious when we're going to hear news of an extension coming down. We'll talk about that next, pal.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Do you need last-minute tickets? Check out Game Time because hockey season is officially here and nothing beats being in the arena for the best game on earth. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. I love their zone deals. It's a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you can save big. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Welcome back, Locked On NHL, your team every day. Mikey, I got Chelsea Dagger stuck in my head this morning. It's driving me nuts.
Well,
the Hawks put up 7 on the Sens last night. Bedard's first NHL hat trick, and I don't know if you got to see all 3 of his goals.
I saw him walk Nick Cousins.
Dude, he made a mockery of the Ottawa Senators at the start of the second period. It was already 3-0 the score, and he got the puck at his own hash marks and just skated through everybody and then just ripped one past Allmark. Perfect drag and shoot between the defenseman's legs, and that wasn't even his best goal. His first goal was a power play seam pass, and he had this much room over the shoulder, short side, and he went barred down. Connor Bedard has arrived. Macklin Celebrini is putting on a show in San Jose. The NHL is in great hands. And why don't we throw Logan Cooley in the mix in that conversation too, with the heater that kid is on? What was the other extension that you're thinking might come down soon?
Well, I mean, you kind of teed it up for me. Connor Bedard is still needing a contract extension, and he was okay going into the season, trying to play things out, play the long game, obviously coming off of a quite disappointing sophomore season last year. A lot of people starting to throw out the bust word. Could he be a bust? Maybe he's not that generational goal-scoring talent that he was touted to be when he was drafted. We're 10 games into the season. He's got 6 goals, 12 points, on pace for 49 goals right now, and is coming off his first career hat trick in the NHL. Like, what's that contract going to look like? Because in the summer, it'd be hard to sit there and say, like, it would have been hard to say he earned a $10+ million AAV contract. It would be very hard to sit there and say he earned that and he's going to become that player. But at this point, I think that he's silenced a lot of critics early on this season. And I think this guy's going to sign a contract for a pretty hefty number pretty soon.
Well, open the conversation with this then. It has to be more than Logan Cooley.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, he's getting, for sure, it's going to be an 8-figure deal. Like, annual average salary, 8-figure deal. Not even close.
What are you thinking?
Like 12, 5? But like, why would he? I don't even think he signs an 8-year deal. I really don't think he signs an 8-year deal. If Connor Bedard signed an 8-year contract, it would be like, it's going to look so silly in a couple of years. If he signs 8 at 12.5, like, how it's going to look like the Leon contract looked 4 years in, or the Makar contract looked 4 years in. And I think he knows that with the way that the cap is going to be increasing. I really think that it's in Bedard's best interest to not do what Cooley's doing, not do what Harley's done, and a lot of these other young stars have done. I think it's in his best interest. Sign a short-term deal, a bridge deal. You can probably still end up getting, 10, 11, $12 million on a 3-year term. And then when the cap is up to $120 million in 3 years, you cash in and you might be the face of the NHL at that point, or right up there, with the top 4 or 5 guys in the National Hockey League. At that point, you cash in big on your 8-year ticket, and maybe $20 million contracts are normal at that point. It's normalized for the superstar in the NHL. That's what I'd do if I was Connor Bedard. I wouldn't follow in the same footsteps as Harley and Cooley. I'd go short term and then get that third contract a couple of years from now when the big bucks are available.
Who do you think Connor Bedard's most common line mate is this season? And there's a 50-minute difference between, there's a 12-minute difference between him and the next forward, and then it's a long way down from there. Because if I'm Connor Bedard, I'm using this in my negotiation.
Is he not playing with Donato?
Nope. They've put Donato with Frankie Nazar. Yeah. Donato and Bedard have played 24 minutes together at 5-on-5.
Who's he playing with? Who's most
Andrei Burakovsky is his most common line mate so far this season, and his second most common line mate is Colton Dach, a rookie.
I mean,
and he's got 12 points.
And like majority of them coming at even strength. Only 3 of his 12 points are on the power play. So it's not like he's piling up power play cookies here. Like he's earning his points. You watched them last night play against Ottawa. He scored 3 goals.
Best player on the ice. It wasn't even close.
Yeah. Dude, he's the Bedsy breakouts here, man. And that contract's going to be a fascinating one to watch once it gets out here. But the Bedsy breakout is absolutely here.
And they have so much money to spend. Like, they can give him whatever he wants. $55 million almost in cap space, and they already locked up. I mean, they've got a ton of expiring deals. They're going to have to fill multiple positions throughout the lineup. But don't worry, Shea Weber's contract's coming off the books. Jokes aside, they've already locked in Spencer Knight on a 3-year extension at 5.8. They've already locked in Frankie Nazar to a huge ticket till 2033 at 6.6.
And all these contracts look like steel. Like Alex Vlasic is a very good quality defenseman. They got him locked in at 4.6 for the next 5 years. You already noted on Spencer Knight, who's had a really good start to the season.
Great start
for the Chicago Blackhawks. Frankie Nazar, like these young players that they've bet on have all hit to this point. It's only 10 games in, so there's still time for the wheels to fall off the wagon, I suppose. But the early returns on the 2025-26 Blackhawks are very positive, man. And if you're a Blackhawks fan, if you're that organization, you have to feel good about the direction that they seem to be heading in after what you've witnessed over the course of the last 3-4 years in Chicago.
But does part of you want one more high draft pick, like top 5 pick? This is going to be a really good draft. And look at the Central Division. We just talked about Utah making the jump up with the Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado trio. Like Minnesota's having an okay start. Like their numbers are better than their record would suggest. Only 3 wins in 11 games. I mean, they got 3 extra points in the loser category, but like, I think Minnesota's underlying numbers are good. They're not going to stay down there forever. But do you think that, I mean, Chicago's also riding an extremely high PDO right now, which is shooting percentage plus save percentage.
Yeah.
I think it might be in their long-term best interest to have one more bad year.
I mean, maybe. Could be, but like you're not going to sit there and trade away your whole team. If
no. But they do have a lot of expiring deals.
But I think you just want to be, continue to build the winning habits with that young core.
Totally.
Like you don't want to become the Buffalo Sabres where you just trade everybody and then there's no leadership there. There's no veteran. You know what I mean? So it is a fine line. Sometimes you have to toe. And when you're a good team like that, when you're a young team, you've been so bad for so long. I just feel when you start to go the other way, you have to continue going that way. Like don't take 2 steps back because that can really set your franchise behind. And Buffalo's a perfect example of them doing that so many times here.
Yeah, they've got a lot of players in that like 29 to 32-year-old age range where it's like, okay, yeah, they're veterans, but they're not like, elder spokespeople like Nick Foligno is. So they brought Foligno in for that. And I'll be watching very intently with Chicago. Because didn't it feel like the conversation around the Blackhawks was, hey, Kirill Kaprizov, like that's our guy. And then he resigns. So they do, I think, need one more big fish and allow this to be the point in the conversation. I won't dwell on it. Ivan Demidov could be in this mix. Ivan Demidov should be on Connor Bedard's wing, and we got robbed of it as hockey fans.
Yeah.
Robbed. We got robbed.
I mean, they went Levshunov over Demidov, which was an interesting decision for them.
And he'll be a good defenseman. Don't get me wrong. Like him and Renzel on the right side, you can see something there long term. But they could have had one of the best playmaking young forwards with a shoot first centerman. It was a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
And we were robbed. They are 1 year apart in drafts.
Yeah.
We would have been talking about it like Malkin Crosby. I truly believe we would have been talking about it in that same breath.
It's possible, man. It's possible. Or
disgusted.
But we're not. So
nope.
Yeah. Demidov's doing his thing out in Montreal, and he looks pretty good. The Habs are pretty good too. They're happy with that one.
Sends Habs on Saturday night in Montreal.
They're a wagon.
Sends get right game against Calgary tomorrow, and it should be lights, camera, action on Saturday night.
So we're approaching the end of the month here. It's the last show with you and I before we flip over the calendar. Who's been the biggest surprise for you, whether it's a team or a player, whether it's positive or a negative? Like what surprised you most about the opening month of the season, Ross?
Yeah, so you're giving me a lot of room for interpretation here. And you know what? Let's start with a positive, because I don't need to dwell on it either. We spoke about it, but the Utah Mammoth getting sub 900 goaltending from their starter and still being tied for the league lead in points. Like that's got to be a huge surprise when you look at expectations going into the season. And my other one on the positive note from a team, like if you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, you're thinking, hey, don't let Sid taste some wins early on in the season, because he'll be hungry for more. And their goaltending was their Achilles heel last year, and it's settled quite a bit, which is really all they needed. Their power play was inexplicably bad last year with all the talent they have on it. It's starting to produce and be a determining factor for them. They're tied for 5th in the league in power play percentage. So that's a nice surprise, I think, early on. Like Dubas, the rebuild maestro, he loves getting his picks in. I think he's still looking at that top 10 in the draft and thinking we're going to be in that. But that's a veteran group that when they get on a bit of a roll here, they're going to start feeling good. And Erik Karlsson's playing really well again, points-wise. He's top 5 among defensemen in the league right now. A lot of good things happening in Pittsburgh.
And it just like Gino, Malkin, and Sidney Crosby leading the way. Like the way that it always has to be or had been in the past. But Gino looks like a brand new man. 16 points in 11 games. Like the guy's out there making plays. Sid's got 8 goals, 15 points in 11 games. Justin Brazeau has come out of nowhere on Malkin's wing. He's got 6 goals in 11 games. Mantha's had a nice resurgence, nearly a point per game there in Pittsburgh, 10 points in 11 games. So they're getting some production from some unlikely sources, along with their GOAT vets in Malkin and Crosby. And it's been a big reason for why they've been able to start off the season the way that they have. And, you noted it. They're getting great goaltending. 918 save percentage team goalies between both Arthur Shelovs and Tristan Jarry. And that Shelovs trade, they got him from Vancouver for a 4th-round pick this summer.
Wow.
He's got a 919 save percentage through 6 games so far this year. He's got a shutout already, a 3-1-2 record. So, he's keeping them in games, picking up points. So if they can continue to get quality goaltending, and if those, guys like the Brazeaus, the Manthas of the world can continue to produce, I guess they'll be fine. But like what
2 teams doing it completely different ways, Utah and Pittsburgh.
Totally, 100%. But like, what are the odds that Pittsburgh is a playoff team by the end of the year? That's my question to you.
Pretty low, and I'll tell you what FanDuel has to say about it after the break. And I do have a negative surprise before we get into our 3 stars of the week. You're listening to Locked On NHL, your team every day. Welcome back, Locked On NHL, your team every day. We're part of Locked On Podcast Network. Shout out to the everydayers who make us your first listen each and every weekday all across the Locked On Podcast Network. We have local experts on the biggest stories 5 days a week. For making the playoffs, the Pittsburgh Penguins currently plus 300, slightly better odds than the New York Islanders and slightly worse than the Seattle Kraken and the Buffalo Sabres.
Okay. I thought they'd be like high two, so I guess that sounds about right. But
they have
the
the third,
not buying the hot start here from the Penguins.
Third longest odds to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference behind the Islanders and the Boston Bruins.
That's tough. They're leading the division. No, the Devils are leading the division, but they're right behind them.
Yeah, the Devils doing it without Jacob Markstrom is super impressive. And to stay in goal, Mikey, and this could open a bag of worms conversation. I'll try to keep them contained.
Okay.
The St. Louis Blues are third last in the league in points percentage, and Jordan Binnington has an .863 save percentage in 8 games.
Don't say it. Don't. Okay, go ahead.
Does that find level soon?
No.
And 2, does he start game 1 for Team Canada?
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying, was that going to cost him his spot on Team Canada? And the answer
his
is
starting
no,
job. His starting job. You can't go into the Olympics with a goalie with a sub 900 save percentage.
Yeah,
because there will be Canadian goalies that are playing red hot lights out at that time.
But Ross, that was the exact same scenario a year ago.
He did not have an .863.
Dude, go look at it before. I'm pretty sure it was like low 9s at the very. It wasn't .863, no, but it was like 890 something, maybe like
997.
897. So like sub 900 going into it. So I don't think so. I think they have confidence that the guy comes up big in big moments. So I think that they'll be fine. The only way is it depends who they play in game 1. If they play an absolute schlep of a team, then they might start whoever. But Jordan Binnington will start the first meaningful game for the Canadian national team. I still believe it doesn't matter what that guy's stats are, record is. I think they look at him. He's their guy. He's their starter. So, yeah, I don't think it's gonna cost him anything. I think he'll level it out. It's not gonna be an .860 goaltender all season. Like that team's, way better than that. Obviously,
they've got good underlying numbers as well. They just can't get a save.
Yeah, it's just it's a tough stretch right now. But I think he'll recover. He'll be fine. Logan Thompson better make the freaking team this time, though. I'll tell you that.
I know. Well, Montembeau's not even starting games for his own team. Jakub Dobeš looks unreal for the Montreal Canadiens. Canada opens the tournament February 12th, Thursday, 10:40 a.m. That might be Central Time for me. Against Czechia. So that's the opening game.
That's a quality game. So that'll be a Jordan Binnington start.
Yeah, it goes Czechia, then Switzerland, then France are the 3 round robin games for Team Canada.
France, that could be Logan Thompson's game.
That could be a Logan game. Nice.
Yeah, that could be a Logan.
3 stars of the week, Mikey. Who you got?
I mean, you want to go 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1?
Let's go 3, 2, 1. Build some suspense, eh?
You talked about him a moment ago. Jakub Dobeš coming in for the Montreal Canadiens, man. Guy's been a stud. 3-0 record this week with a .921 save percentage and .231 goals against average. And he's wrestled that starting job away from Samuel Montembeault. Like, the guy has been unbelievable this season. And he was great last year. He came up, started hot. He's the only goalie right now, starting goalie at least, who has an undefeated record. He's 6-0 in his 6 starts with a .930 save percentage and a sub 2 goals against on the season. Like, he could arguably be your front runner, your early season front runner for the Vezina. Him and Logan Thompson probably in that conversation. But he's had a big week for those pesky Habs. So I got him as my 3rd star, showing some love to the goalies.
Well, let's get crazy. What are the chances he starts opening game of the Olympics against Canada for Czechia?
Who else would be in the conversation?
There's another goalie who has played great to start the season.
Czechia?
Yeah, he is. Vejmelka, Vladar, and Dostal.
Ooh.
Dostal won them a world championships already.
It probably would be between Dostal and Dobeš.
And don't count out Czech legend Peter Mrazek from back in the day. He had, if I remember correctly, an Unreal World Juniors for Czechia back in the day.
I will count him out, though. Czechia's got a good young group of attendees there, right? Dobis.
Yeah, Vitek
Pamelka.
Vanacek is Czech as well. So both goalies in Utah are Czech.
Probably don't see Vanacek there.
No, probably not. But hey, he's got a Stanley Cup ring, so who the heck are we? So your third star of the week is going to Jakub Dobiš. My third star of the week, I want to be a homer, but I'm not going to be. So
you were going to go Drake Batherson, weren't you?
What? I mean, the Sens scored 14 goals in 2 games, and one of them was against the Washington Capitals. Pretty good team, but I will not go that direction. It was nice to see him get on the score sheet because he was hurt in preseason, missed the start of the year, and then he's been lights out since. He had 8 points in 4 games. But I'm going to go with my third star, Sidney Crosby, because I'm still amazed that this guy's doing it. 7 points in 4 games. He hit that milestone that we spoke about last week, most points overall in franchise history for the Penguins, playoffs, regular season combined, and he's just ageless, and it's so cool, and I hope he plays forever, and I hope he's on the 2030 Team Canada Olympic roster. This guy's just, I just don't see Father Time catching up to him. He's going to leave the game on his own terms when he wants. Let's go. Let's get crazy with it. But no, instead of getting ahead of ourselves, you know what? I'll take a deep breath and I'll just enjoy it for what it was. Let's talk this week. Sidney Crosby is my third star.
Yeah, I like it, man.
Stud.
What the guy does on a year in, year out basis, he's just Mr. Consistent.
5 even strength points in 4 games for Sid. 53% in the dot.
And like he's scoring goals too. Like he's got 7 to 8 goals already this year. Like he's not known to be the best goal scorer. Like, I mean, he can, but he's never, been a dude who's been competing for Rockets year in, year out. But here he is, 38, 37, 38 years old.
Yeah, he is.
And he's out there ripping 8 goals through 10 games. Dude's been unbelievable. So for sure, deserves some love there.
Yeah,
who's
he'll be
who's that number 2 for you?
Number 2, I'll go Logan Cooley. I mean, we've spoken about him at length, and I'll just wrap up with number 1 because they're kind of 2 peas in a pod, 2 centermen out west that are just young and about to take the league by storm. Number 1, Macklin Celebrini, 10 points in 4 games. He's 53% in the dot, man. Like, how rare is that for a 19-year-old kid to be snapping back more than 50% of his draws? He is, I don't want to say all they got in San Jose right now at the NHL level, but that's clearly a bad team. Second worst team in the league right now behind Calgary for lowest points percentage. And he is carrying all their offense and playing well at both ends of the ice. Like, he's even on the week. And I'm going to go out on a limb. Let's get the fact check on this. I don't think the Sharks had a great week. They lost 4. I mean, it wasn't a great week.
Well, he had
2 overtime wins.
Yeah, they had that unbelievable win in New York, 6-5.
Yeah, so they're just minus 1 goal differential this week.
They scored six goals in that game. He had 5 points.
Yeah,
hat trick, 5 points. It was unbelievable. He's my first star also, obviously. Easy. I mean, 10 points in 4 games. Like, the kid's 19 years old, and he's right up there. What is he, 3rd in NHL scoring right now? Like, the kid's unbelievable and seemingly only getting better. I guess it's kind of been a big theme throughout today's show, talking about a lot of this youth coming through. Yeah. Team Canada had to pick their team today, and they're choosing between Bedsy and Celebrini. Who do you choose?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Possible that both of them could make the team?
I don't know, because then look at Nick Suzuki and Mark Scheifele, who are left off the 4 Nations. They're right there in points as well.
Man, such a difficult decision that they're going to have to make here.
And Tom Wilson's stats since being left off the 4 Nations roster are very good as well. He leads the Washington Capitals in points this year.
Yeah, Zach Hyman. I mean, what he's.
And you also have the Kunitz effect where it's like, hey, does McDavid want Hyman there on his wing?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. The Olympic rosters are going to be coming out right after Christmas, right before New Year's. So looking forward to all that. Did you tell us your second star?
Yeah, Cooley and Celebrini.
Cool. Yeah, perfect. That's unanimous. Too easy. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you making us your first listen. Go check out another Locked On show. Thank you so much for Mike DiStefano. I'm Ross Levitan. This has been your Wednesday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, your team every day.